Football at 4 is here, and Andrew DiCecco is here. He just walked out of the Eagles locker room, Andrew. We're looking at some of the matchups here. We don't know the matchups until we know who's playing, so let's start with that. Lane Johnson, probably the most important Eagle in terms of will he play or will he not. What's your feel with big tackle Lane Johnson?
Well, based on what I saw, and I wasn't here for practice, but the videos that I saw and just talking to people, he looks ready. He was testing the ankle. And anyone can find those videos on Twitter by now. They're up there. But you're right. Lane Johnson is arguably the most important player outside of Jalen Hurts to the Eagles' success. And without him, it's really hard to manufacture points, get any sort of consistency going on offense. And they're really going to need him out there, obviously, if the Eagles want to keep pace with the Miami Dolphins and their high-octane offense. So everything from the offense goes through Lane Johnson and Jalen Hurts, so they need to have number 65 back out there on Sunday night.
Yeah, why do you think, Andrew, just, off the top of your head, or if you have a scientific thought, why the team struggles so much? Their record without him, you know what it is. It's, 13-26 or something like that. Why is he such an important piece?
Because he's a dominant player. He neutralizes the opposition's pass rush. He helps the supporting cast around him. I just think he's a stabilizing presence that's the best in the business of what he does. And without him in the lineup, not that guys are ill-equipped to step in, because anyone that comes through here with the Eagles, Jeff Stoutland, is going to largely be among the better backups and most prepared in the league. But Lane Johnson's in a different class. And really what it comes down to, Mike, is he operates on such a high level and is able to keep all these pass rushers at bay. Hasn't surrendered a sack since, I believe, his 2020. He's just an effective guy to have out there, and a comfort level. There's a comfort level there. I think if you're Jalen Hurts, knowing that Big Lane's out there manning the right tackle spot.
Andrew, you got a chance to walk through the locker room today. Julio Jones is here. Want to get your thoughts on why they signed him and what role he may have, because I guess at first it's kind of a head-scratching thing. How do you see Julio Jones and what kind of role he might have?
Yeah, I thought that it was a really good signing in the sense that you're able to see what you have in Julio. You're able to give it enough time before the trade deadline, because if you see that you have something with Julio, maybe you don't have to invest in trying to trade for a wide receiver, perhaps like a Jerry Jeudy or someone to that effect. But the Eagles sorely lack, Mike, a big-bodied receiver to back up and supplement Devontae and AJ, right? So if either of those players were to miss time, go to the sideline, need a blow, you're asking Olamide Zaccheaus to slide outside. You're asking a Britton Covey to slide outside. Devin Allen, who was up last week, he didn't play any offensive snaps, but that's what you're looking at. And they're just not equipped to do that. And you don't have that go up and get it receiver that can man the perimeter if AJ or Devontae aren't out there. So you're getting a player in Julio Jones who, yes, he's really, his career is tailed off. He's 34 years old. He's had a litany of hamstring injuries, but I think signing him to the practice squad allows you to get him up to speed with the playbook, allows you to see what you have in him from a health perspective, and then I think it would be awfully ambitious to put him out there on Sunday and expect anything, expect favorable results or game-altering play. But I think down the line, if he's able to contribute and give you some snaps and be a good veteran presence to a Devontae, and obviously he has experience playing with AJ and Olamide Zaccheaus when he's with the Falcons in 2019. I think it's an interesting signing, and we're going to have to see how it plays out.
Andrew DiCecco, Football at 4 from InsideTheBirds.com. Andrew, we've got two great offenses, but one outgains the other by over 100 yards. It's never happened. Historically, the 103-yard gap between the first-ranked offense and the second-ranked offense is the biggest gap. So I ask you, we talked about this a lot, and I want to bring your thoughts and opinions on it, is you got two great offenses. You've got Waddle and Hill. You've got Brown and Smith. The Eagles have Goddard. They've got the best offensive line. They've got Swift. They've got Mostert. You got Tua. You got Hurts. You got talent all over the place. Why are they outgaining the Eagles' offense by 100 yards a game? In other words, why is Miami's offense so explosive and Philadelphia's not?
Well, they're able to capitalize and get the ball into the end zone. The Eagles have been really productive in moving the football, but they've really sputtered when they've gotten into the red zone. I think sometimes you outsmart yourself. Sometimes these plays are just too simplistic, and they're just not executing in the red zone when you need to punch it in. So the Eagles, I think, have the capability to score at any point on the field, at any point and any time. They're that talented, but I think that when it comes down to it being efficient in the red zone, and that's where you see the difference between the two teams. Miami also has a lot of electrifying speed, right? You look at Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, you mentioned, Raheem Mostert, Devin Achane. When he was healthy, you have a track team out there that's a mismatch for any defense, and they can score from anywhere on the field when you get the ball in their hands. And they're the most explosive offense in the NFL when they're healthy and at full strength. So I think that's why they're able to make those splash plays that maybe you haven't seen outside of an A.J. Brown catch and run, where he acts like a linebacker after the catch.
We like to talk matchups with Andrew. He's one of the best out there when breaking them down, and the Eagles have problems in the secondary. So, Andrew, how does this Eagles secondary match up with the Dolphins this week?
Well, it's going to be really tough if you don't have Darius Slay, which we'll have to see what the injury report says. He was a limited participant yesterday. Looked like he was out there today. We'll have to see to what capacity, but obviously you have Darius at that. If you're looking at it in these terms, you would have Darius Slay, James Bradbury. I assume it would be Josiah Scott, maybe a little Sidney Brown playing the slot. Sidney Brown and Terrell Evans, I would assume at safety. I'm not sure that Reed Blankenship would be able to go that quickly after sustaining that rib injury. That was a nasty hit that he took. He didn't practice yesterday, so we'll have to see what the injury report indicates there. So then you're going to see you have Terrell Edmonds, you have Mekhi Garner, you have Sidney Brown. I would assume that Sidney Brown would be the starter, obviously, opposite Terrell Edmonds, but you also might see Sidney take some snaps inside. And Josiah Scott also offers safety capability. If you may remember him cross-training at safety in the 2022 training camp.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Eli Ricks is healthy, and he practiced yesterday. He was a full participant after sustaining a knee injury against MetLife Stadium on Sunday. So you have some optionality there. Josh Job's still there as well. But it's really a tough ask for any corner, really, to match up with these Miami receivers. And if you may remember in the offseason, I said one of the areas in which I thought the Eagles may have some trouble this season is combating the speed element that teams can present and throw their way, because they have a lot of capable and really competent corners, but they don't run particularly well, and they can be tested down the field.
All right, Andrew DiCecco, the Eagles, last week they had some problems with the Jets' pass rush. Should they have problems with the Dolphins' pass rush this week?
Well, they have the Van Ginkel, and you have the Jalen Phillips. They have players who are capable pass rushers that can really bear down on the quarterback if they're not on their A game. Now, Sua Opeta, for as effusive in his praise as I was in the Rams game, and granted he got a lot of help there were areas of opportunity against the Jets. And the Jets presented a unique matchup in that he couldn't get a lot of help because everyone across that line could beat you in a different way. So everybody, you're not able to sell out like you were to stop at Aaron Donald or try and stave him off. So I thought Sua Opeta was tested, and I thought Jack Driscoll had a tough outing, kind of being thrown in there in the middle of early in the game without having really sustained any practice reps throughout the week. So I think that having him get some reps this week, or at least, being able to look at the film and know what you need to work on, is certainly going to serve him well. But we'll have to see what happens with Lane Johnson, because if he's able to be out there, I think the Eagles' offensive line can hold up against any pass rush gamut that teams want to throw at them.
Yeah, I know that this week you think Jalen Carter will be back in the game for Philadelphia's defense?
I would think so, yeah, and he's going to be key. You need your difference makers to be out there, especially in a game like this where teams are at least projected to go strike for strike, and there's going to be a lot of points scored, a lot of fireworks. You need to have your difference makers out there that can stop, that can provide pressure up the middle, get to a Tagovailoa off his spot, maybe force a hasty throw that can turn into an interception or something to that effect. And Jalen Carter is someone that can take over a game on his own.
Sunday Night Football, listen to it right here on 97.3 ESPN. That's my friend Andrew DiCecco. He does a great job covering the Eagles. InsideTheBirds.com. I assume Sunday Night Football. Will you be in the house Sunday Night Football there, Andrew?
Yes, sir. I can't wait.
All right, we'll have full reports on Football at 4 tomorrow with with Adam Kaplan. Moshe back on Monday, and the guys next week will be breaking it all down for us here on the Sports Bash. AD, enjoy the weekend, man.
Thanks, Mike. You too.
All right, Andrew DiCecco here on the Sports Bash, Football at 4.